this particular session on the workplace design for well-being, we will be talking about workplace well-being, four factors that influence the workplace well-being, workplace health model, then workplace design for well-being, emerging opportunity to effectively use design to promote employee well-being, then more inclusive and enduring the outcomes for the employees, the benefits of the addressing workplace well-being, then the role of the workplace design is evolving to a people-centric approach. Employee health issues and disengagement have only costly effects on the bottom line. Employee well-being can offer a strong return on investment. The power of well-being, and then the pivoting ahead and research papers and the references are there. So, workplace well-being is not a new concept. However, once discounted as a fad or the trend, it has the more recently become the rooted in the business strategy for the companies of the various sizes and sectors. Like so many similar trends stemming from post or the COVID hybrid working, it has become an increasingly important concept to understand. The reasons are the straightforward, as the repeated studies have shown that a focus on the employee and the workplace well-being can result in the improved productivity, increased morale, fewer sick days, and these better staff retention is there. No wonder companies have embraced the workplace well-being concept with such a vigor. But what is the workplace well-being, and how can office design as a discipline create spaces that promotes and encourage the workplace well-being is there. So, this has been always been the question is there. So, it has been seen from through the research and through practices, that is the if you take care of the well-being of the employee, then in that case it will be improving the productivity and the morale of the employees, motivation of the employees at the workplace is there. For these practices, the number of studies have been done, and it has been observed that is that work culture, the supporting colleagues, that those have been the very important factor for the well-being at the workplace is there. This well-being actually in fact have been also been used with the synonyms with the happiness at the workplace is there. So, in this case the organizational practices, especially in the case of this the post-COVID hybrid working is there, or when we are talking about any personal issues of these employees are also concerned, then we find that is it is becoming a very important factor, that is the when whoever your employees are there, and those employees they find themselves that is the they are doing the good work because of their mental peace is there or the happiness is there. Now, whenever we are talking about these factors, different factors are there. So, one is the physical factor, and in this physical factor many organizations are having these practices that is about the nutrition. Breakfast available at the workplace is there. Actually, it is not that is the how much do you eat, but it is the equally important is what do you eat, and therefore, in that case it is at workplace what are these facilities are available. A simple example, when we talk about the canteen or at workplace, or when we talk about the mess at the workplace is there, and what type of the food is available and what type of the food the employees choose, and therefore, the way of this food they will choose, that will making this effect on their body, and as a result of which the body will be active or dull, and accordingly the brain will work. So, therefore, this nutrition is there. Second is that is the now many organizations are having the gym at workplace. People feel that is the why there is a need for the gym at workplace is there, and then it is because the exercise is there, and all of us know when we do the exercise, that is the level of the oxygen in the blood level that increases, and as a result of which we are having this better feeling is there, and the fitness is there, and the body is active. So, therefore, in that case providing these exercise facilities, because maybe the employees are working from morning to evening and they are not getting time for the exercise because of the excessive working hours. So, then in that case these type of the facilities which are giving them this will be helping them, that is the how they are going for this type of physical fitness is there, and that is why this nutrition and the physical fitness these are the exercises which has been provided by these many organizations. Similarly, there are these these different types of the activity programs, social activity program are there, trekking is there, the physical activities programs are there, and these all activities of program keep their brain alert and the active, and therefore as a result of which they are able to contribute more and focus more on at their workplace. Then the ergonomics is there, that is the machine and human beings relationship is there. You might have seen that is the table. The table is now a movable table. So, at the height of the person the table can be fixed, and therefore, in that case that workplace which is provided, the chair which has been provided. Now, many times the chairs for long sitting, they are causing this type of these body problems are there, nerves are getting compressed, and this there is because of the long sitting, this type of the physical problems are there. So, when you are designing the table, designing the chair as per the convenient of the your employee, as per his height is concerned and the comforts are concerned, then definitely in that case the person will be comfortable at the workplace, and that will be making these physical factors were supporting for his well-being. Now, we know about this Hawthorne experiment, that is a light and the productivity experiment in the management, where these lights have been reduced, lights have been increased, light has been constantly placed at a particular watt, and then it has been seen what is the effect on this productivity is concerned. So, these environmental factors, they also play a very, very important role. If the room is very dark and there is not enough lighting facility, then definitely in that case the person will not like to read more, and he will not be encouraged to reading, because his physical workplace of the surrounding that is not supporting. Similarly, the space, that is how much space a person is having, and therefore as we see in the factories that there the minimum space has been provided. So, similarly at every workplace this minimum space is to be provided as per the comforts of the employees are concerned, depending upon from job to job. And the overall designing of the workplace that also make these the feeling, that is why you find that many beautiful paintings are there, or there is a garden is there, or there is from the window you can see a beautiful scenario, and that is making you the more comfortable at the workplace. You are able to focus whenever you take the break, you again when you come back, so you are re-energized. So, are there noise, air quality, and the temperature, that is whatever the temperature is there, and that the comfortable zone which has been created at the workstation, that will be making the employee more comfortable, and that is making him the more happy at the workplace. And as we have seen, that is a person, if he is happy or the well-being is taken care of, his productivity will increase. Psychological factors are also there, and especially when we talk about the job security is concerned, and if the person feels that is his job is secure, then he is not worried about the future. So, his approach towards the job, that will be very positive, and then that will be focusing on, that is how he can focus on his work and can take the risk also, because the if his stress level is the moderate level, and we know the relationship between the productivity and the job stress is there, and the relationship is of the inverted U. So, when we are talking about this stress level, then this stress and this is the performance, and this is the stress low and high. So, for every human being there is a U stress. This point is called U stress. This is a U stress, and there in that case you will find that is the for the other employee it might be like this, right. So, low and high. So, therefore, in that case as we increase the stress, for some employees they are able to bear the stress, and then after that there is a declining in the performances there. So, therefore, this stress level, that is becoming very, very important, and if stress is a productive stress, functional stress, then definitely in that case the person will feel motivated. But when the stress goes beyond this his stress bearing capacity, then in that case the person will not be able to perform, and his performance will decline. So, here it is very necessary, that is his stress is the positive stress, productive stress, functional stress is there. Now, why this stress is, many times nowadays in the generation we find they are not able to balance, the work life balance is there, and simple example like in the night time. So, night time they are not taking proper rest, and as a result of which especially for the students we find that is in the daytime their productivity is not is stable or the highly increasing, motivating. So, therefore, this work life balance one should know, that is how to balance his time management, so that he will be able to manage that his personal life and his work life both. Similarly, when we talk about the workload, how much is the workload is there, and whenever there will be the excessive workload, the person will not be able to deliver, which will be reason into the so many psychological factors. So, he should be able to manage the job demands, what are the job demands are there, on basis of those job demands he should be able to meet those demands by providing the supply with the help of the technology, with the help of the manpower if possible. So, support is there. So, here we will find that those psychological factors that will be also influencing his the well-being is there. Then the social factors are very very important is there. As I mentioned, the well-being. Actually, in many organizations power and politics is there, as a result of which the colleagues relationships are not good. If it is not good, then definitely the person will be under stress and he will not be able to perform. But where in those organizations where these colleagues relationships are very strong, then in that case you will find that is they are having these more productivity, and so they are able to manage, and if they are able to manage the relationship, and that is also my one course is already there on NPTEL, that is the managerial skills for the these interpersonal relationship. So, therefore, these managerial skills of these interpersonal dynamics, those that particular course will talk about, that is the relationship, how to manage the better relationship at the workplace and even in the personal life also. Are the organization cultures and practices which are making this impact and creating the that is called the workplace communities of practices. So, what is the COP? That is called communities of practices. So, what type of the practices are there in the community? The practices is very hardworking, highly motivating, focus, goal, achieving goals, managing time, managing the physical, environmental and the psychological factors. Then definitely if the whole ecosystem is that much supporting to the employee, then in that case definitely like the social events are there, organizing the social functions are there, cultural programs are there, lunch, dinners and the trips are there. So, then these all social factors that will also support the employees to enjoy his workplace. Now, workplace health model, now I will talk about this workplace health model. So, here we find there are the 4 stages are there, and first is the assessment, second is the planning and management, third is the implementation, and the fourth is the evaluation is there. So, here when we are talking about the what is the workplace health model, then in that case first and foremost that is demographics are there. Now, when we are talking about the industry 4.0 and the artificial machine learning and all, then definitely in that case we are using more and more technology is there. So, your age and your health of an individual, that should be assessed, and then to see what type of the work one can do. Similarly, the organizational practices, work environment that will also create the health of the employee. Third one is the community, which already I have talked about. The communities of practices are there. For example, the transportation facilities, the food and retail parks and recreations are there. Now, in the case if you find that is the workplace health model is weak, then what to do? So, therefore, you have to plan and manage the healthy work environment, and that is through the leadership support. Now, whenever the actually in fact the employee is for these social factors and psychological factors, it is very necessary that an appropriate leadership style is required. And in the leadership we have talked about, that is the how the leader influences the behavior of others, and if he is focused leadership style is flexible, and that is called the situational style of leadership is there. There are different models are there, like the Fiedler's model is there, then the Hirsch and Blanchard's model is there. So here you find that is what type of the leadership support is there. Now, here when we are talking about this leadership model, then definitely in that case that relation in Indian culture, we are having this leader and follows relationship, like the Sri Krishna and Arjun is there, or the Dronacharya Eklavya is there, or the Chanakya and the Chandragupta is there, and therefore in that case these leaders are having such great followers, and that they are making the name of their leaders. So therefore this leadership support is at the for keeping the good health is very much important. Second is the management is there. So workplace health coordinator and committee is there. So here it will be very important, that is the organization, they are making the proper these coordination committees and these supportive work environment. And if supportive work environment is there, so naturally the workplace health improvement plans are there, goals and strategies are there, supporting is there, progressing is there. Simple example is of the training is there, wherever the person feels that he is lacking the skills, immediately contacts to his leader, and leader provides that support, that is the how he can develop those particular skills. Then in the case dedicated resources are there. So we always talk about management about the main, machine, material, money, method and minutes. 6 M's are there in the management are there, and then when these resources are available to an individual, then definitely in that case he will be able to perform in an excellent way, which will be keeping him healthy, and the physical and mental. The communications are very important, so there should not be the communication gap, and a constant communication and the trust of, is to be created for the communication is there. Now, when you are having this type of these factors and practices in the organization, that will then you have to but how to do this, and therefore implementation, and that is how we can make this healthy model. So, healthy model we can keep by providing them the education, talking to them, counseling them, advising them, that is this is the way they can do this particular job. Then the policies are there, organizational rules are there. So, therefore, in that case it is important that is we are making these policies are there. Now, here when we talk about these benefits are there. So, implementation is about these insurance, incentives and all benefits will be there. So, workplace benefits which we provide to the employees, and on basis of that they are able to get that support. A simple example here is mentioned about the insurance. So, incentives can be there, and nowadays we know that it is a variable pay is there. So, as the performance is there, but when you are talking about this type of these variable pay incentives, when you talk about the insurance schemes are there, then definitely in that case when you implement this type of the strategies, policies, the employees feel better, comfortable, and that is the they will be having that healthy atmosphere at the workplace. Then the environmental support is there, opportunities, physical, social interactions, which I have mentioned earlier, that is the for the well-being. These all the physical, psychological, social, environmental factors, they are very supportive for the productivity outcome and the healthy mind and healthy body of the employees. But are we doing it correctly or not? And therefore, this workplace health model talks about the evaluation. Worker productivity is there. So, absenteeism, presentation is there. So, these are the symptoms. If the health is not good, means psychological health is not good. An employee, he does not take interest in his work, he remains absent. And if he remains absent, then there is absenteeism, will be the evaluation, and then you can come to know that is the what are the different factors are there, which because of which he is not focused on his work. Then the presentism is there, and healthcare cost, quality of care, performance standards, because as I mentioned, like the insurance is there, but definitely there will be the cost will be involved with this particular insurance. Therefore, healthcare cost that is to be taken care of, and find out for each employee what is the cost is there. Then the improved health outcomes are there, that is the reduce the diseases and the disability is there, and the organizational change culture of health is there, and this type of the organizational change or the culture of health, then that is the, for example, recruitment practices, retaining the employees, the efforts are to be made to retain the employees, alignment of the health and the business objectives, and these all will be creating this workplace health model is there. So, what is required? You have to design. You have to design for the well-being is there, and today there are the emerging opportunities to use the workplace design to promote a holistic state of well-being for people at work. When the organizations provide the work environment, they support user control, natural elements and daylight, changing postures, they address the physical and psychological health of the people, enhancing engagement, creativity, innovation, retention. Good workplace design fosters the well-being, which leads to the success for the organization is there. So, there are the emerging opportunities for the effectively used design to the promote employees well-being are there, and wellness programs have been long, and here physical health by minimizing the exposure risk to the harmful chemicals and the materials to the standards such as the LEED certificate and ergonomic standards have been developed to reduce the risk of the muscular skeletal injuries to official workers are there. So, however, these disparate programs fail to address a complete sense of the whole person at work in that includes both physical and the mental health is there. These practices ultimately goal is to making the office or the workplace that is becoming the not only for the work, rather than that is the making the holistic approach is there, and as a result of which it is not the person is in isolation, rather than it is overall personality, families, friends together, that's all will be taken care of. So, it is an emerging opportunity, holistic state of the well-being at the workplace is there. Now, the employees are required to be more inclusive and the enduring the outcomes for the employees are there. The goal of well-being for employees that is the subsumes all other outcomes. It is not a short term emotion like happiness, it is an enduring state that can lead to the productive, engaged, balance and the healthy employees are there. So, when you address these well-being applications, then you are able to attract and retain employees, reduce the cost of absenteeism and reduce the health cost. These improve the morale by creating a socially engaging supportive environment, and naturally because of their vigor, absorption and dedication, which are the part of the employee engagement, that also improves. So, here we find out the higher productivity, lower turnover, better company culture and higher employee engagements are there. This role of workplace design is evolving to a people-centric approach is there, and here by driving employee performance, people-centric design puts people at the center of the design process with outcomes related to the quality of life. So, the assumption is that as quality of life improves, traditional business issues such as engagement, performance are also there. Now, there are the chronic disease and the stress related illness are rapidly increasing in the working age population, and stress is known cause of the both mental health disorders and the cardiovascular diseases. The World Health Organization predicts by 2020 mental health disorders and the cardiovascular disease will be the prime type of the illness, and these predictions have been found true. That is from now in the 2023 we find it is whatever the predictions have been meant by the 2020 that has been the seen at the workplace. And there are more problems of the maybe the diabetes, health disease and other inactively related disease than the smoking is there. So, employee health issue and the disengagement have on costly effect on the bottom line. 4% in the public sector is there. The annual absenteeism rate in US is 3% and on average per employee to the private sector is there. So, stress cost is increasing is and therefore, when we are talking about the ROI, so employees well-being program, and that is Harvard Business Review's case study, the Johnson and Johnson's leader. estimated that their wellness programs had cumulatively saved the company $250 million on healthcare costs. I remember one case study and in which the Coca-Cola, and by providing this gym and the healthy food and this nutrition at the workplace and like these practices, they have also reduced the huge cost which was spent on the medical reimbursement is there. So well-being standard is there, the required a certain investment, but it is a small price for the return, improved engagement, retention, and the connection is there. These incorporating well concepts into the workplace design must be go beyond just protecting their physical health by taking a holistic approach that addresses physical and psychological health well-being of the workplace, designed to improve the mental health and designed to improve the physical health is there. When we talk about the improving the mental health, I have talked about that is the physical environment, ability to user control over the workplace, that is the policy of the organization, environment control, and that will be contribute to the number of benefits are there. So this designed to improve the mental health is the ability of user control over the workplace. So specify the flexible task lighting so that the individual can control brightens and the position of the lighting source. Create a variety of individual, group, and the social interaction spaces that let employees choose the workplace size, type, furnishing, and technology that if it is the immediate work needs are there. Now introducing the elements of the nature into the workplace is there. So ensure the workstations and the collaborations areas view to the outside, incorporate plants into the design of the space, design using the natural the materials and patterns that evoke the future, and create the open plan in address the people's affinity for wide open spaces. These incorporate more natural light into the overall office environment, which I have talked about, that is the Hawthorne experiment, which was based on there is a workstations, how they receive, consider the implementing the circadian lighting systems, and accordingly that has to be there. Minimize the noise distractions are there. So workplace naturally it is required to workplace which would be the noise free, and it is increasing the workers' productivity. These noise distraction however pose a challenge that can be addressed through the both design and the policies are there. Minimize these noise distraction and displace noise distraction, and number of practices are there. For example, the cafe spaces for breakout meetings versus the phone free desk areas resembling a library setting is there. Now here this particular noise, avoid these noise distraction, reducing the noise distraction and educate the employees. So therefore in that case you will find that is you are able to improve the health of these employees are there. These promotes the challenging postures are designed to improve the physical health, and where I talk about the ergonomics, man-machine relationship, and here it talks about the postures and movements within the space over the course of the workday is there, and that you have to find out. So this promoting these changing postures and movements within the space over the course of the workday, and that is making the where the people free to move to their workplace of the choice according to the needs of the task is there. It is always apply the ergonomics principles in this, also design furnished lawn spaces to facilitate and postures is there. Example is supply a height adjustable table to a variety of the work surfaces. Both the sitting and the standing height is there, which I mentioned earlier, that is the your height of the table you are able to manage according to the height of the employees are there. In the ambient environment which develop a sense of communities of the practices, COPs. So social aspects are to be there to so that the people can connect with each other and the social support is required. This power of well-being in the design is this that is it is the corporate wide health policies and wellness programs. Employees need to opt in to actively participate and enjoy the benefits. Unfortunately, the research shows an average of only 25% participation in wellness program across the US. When the well-being principles are factored into the design, people are surrounded by it while they work within the space, making it impossible not to participate in receiving the benefits of the better psychological and physical health is there. This power of well-being design to create that happiness happiness at the workplace, and that is to higher organizational performance is there. So, what is ultimately we can say in this way, building the well-being into the work becomes an effort, and that can yield the immediate benefits, the productivity, while paying the ongoing dividends by driving the meaningful work is there. This is the research paper that is conceptualizing the social well-being in the actively based offices are there, and the purpose of this article is to aid the conceptualized of the social well-being at work by identifying in the components in a contemporary office, and so educate measures to be developed in the monitor and the well-being and to the access the impact of the interventions at the workplace is there. And the finding of this research paper will help you to making the understand that is what are the different practices where you can make these communities of practices and the support to the employees, so that the employees can have the physical well-being and the mental well-being is there. This is the book that is the ergonomic workplace design for health, wellness and the productivity, and this is author is Ellen Hedge is there. And in this book, even with today's mobile technology, most work is still undertaken in a physical workplace. This today's workplace need to be the healthy environment that minimize the risk of the illness or the injuries to the occupants to complete in the marketplace. And this necessitates the application of the good ergonomics design principles to the certain creation of the effective workplace, and this is the focus on this particular book. These are the references which you can refer for your further studies into the detail, and you can find out in your surrounding industries what are the different practices of the well-being are there. So, your employees they remain happy. Thank you.